Inside the Classroom is brought to you by NYSUT, a union of more than 600,000 professionals dedicated to education, human services, and healthcare. NYSUT is proud to partner with parents in advocating for what students need. We stand for excellence in public education from preschool through postgrad. Find us online at nysut.org.
Hi, welcome to another edition of Inside the Classroom. I'm Ashli Dreher, and I'm here today with Kim Honeck, a STEAM coach at Fletcher Elementary in the city of Tonawanda. Tell us a little bit about what a STEAM coach is, Kim.
A STEAM coach works with teachers to look at traditional lessons that they're teaching in the classroom, and we add in science, technology, engineering, math, so that students are more hands-on, getting out of their seats, learning in a different way.
So you're spicing up the lesson.
Yes.
You're making it more engaging for students and also a little bit of 21st century kind of learning and applying some technology or whatever it is. Tell us a little bit about some examples of things that you've added to lessons to make it a little more engaging for students over the years.
So last year I was working with a 4th grade class, and they learn about parts of the plants. You know, it starts with the seed, and then it grows the stem, and then the pretty plant. And in the past, the teacher always had them draw the picture, and I think we probably all have done that. So last year the teacher came to me and said, look, I've taught this lesson for many years, how can we stem it up? I don't want to do the same thing. So we sat down and brainstormed together, and we actually took the iPads and used Stop Motion Studio, and we used Play-Doh, and the kids designed like the seed, then they took a picture of it, then they had a little stem coming out, took a picture of it, so that at the end they actually had a movie that they could watch and present to the rest of the class instead of just sitting and coloring pictures. So then that was their presentation, their final picture or movie.
That's really neat.
Yeah, it was very nice.
And they probably remember.
Yep, they had to know the vocabulary because they had to present it and they had to talk about it. And then what was neat was watching them as they were doing it say, oh wait, we have to go back and fix that. You know, the stem just doesn't appear, it grows in small stages, so how are we going to do that? So
there's a little bit of research involved on the part of the students too, to be able to put together an accurate picture for each frame that you're taking of the plant as well.
Yes.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So what else, what other types of things have you incorporated or done when you're working with teachers to really spice up the lesson and make it more hands-on?
Yeah, so last year a different teacher had come to me and said, you know, they were learning about different explorers, and normally, again, they just take a map and they draw across it the routes that the explorers would take and where they came from, and she said, I just don't know that they're really understanding, you know, what's happening here. So again, we sat down and brainstormed together because there is a lot of collaboration between the classroom teacher and myself. You know, we go back and forth with lessons. And we have these little Ozobot robots, and they're these cute little, you know, tiny little guys, and they follow a line. So what I said, well, again, instead of just drawing a straight line, let's take out the Ozobot. So we had big maps, and the students had markers, and they had to trace where the explorer started, where they ended, and along the way they had to tell us something about the explorer that they knew. And then they put the Ozobot in, and he followed the trail to where the route went.
Yeah. Now, how did the robot know to follow the trail to where it went?
The students had to draw the line. So they had to know where the explorer was starting, what country they started in, and then where they ended too.
Okay.
So they had to do, again, that research to know who I have, what are some facts that I need to know about them, where are they going to begin their trade route, and where are they going to end.
Did you have to program the robot as well to be able to follow the line?
The students do that.
The students do
Yeah,
that. Okay, so there's programming
depending
involved.
on what colors you're using, the robot can go faster or slower. So yeah, the students can do all that with different colored markers.
Ah, that's neat. So that's a new way to make it more interesting and hands-on, and also incorporate programming
Yes.
into the lesson
Yes.
as well. So
Yep.
now I heard that you're doing more one-to-one computing
We
and
are.
things like that at the Tonawanda City School District. Tell us
Yes.
about how you're doing that. How are you making it more personal for students and really getting them engaged with one-to-one computing?
The fun thing is students are already engaged. They're already into technology. They're born using technology, basically. So our school district now is wireless. So students have Chromebooks. In kindergarten, they have what are called Bach computers. But then K to 5, actually 7th, 6th, 7th, and 8th are already one-to-one Chromebooks. So it's nice that they can come to the lab. We're wireless. They can bring it, whatever research they are doing in class, they can also bring to the lab and do research. I just met with some 5th grade teachers yesterday, and we're incorporating something called a Genius Hour. So on Fridays, they're going to be working for an hour doing some research on things that they're passionate about. So everyone is going to have a different project. And what we're going to have is like an open STEM policy where they can work in the classroom on some things, they can come up to the lab at a certain time and work on some things, and kind of like a rotating through. So they'll be using their technology, their Chromebooks, we can use anything from Google on there. They just kind of need that guidance on where they're headed.
And what is the final product that they're working on for that Genius Hour? Is it a research paper on a topic, or is there a certain product that you're looking for in the end from students on the topic that they're passionate about, or does it vary from student to student?
That's the cool thing, is it varies from student to student. So it could be a recipe where they show up with a cake one day. It could be a research project where they set up, a whole board and talk about what they did and collect their data. It could be that they designed a robot and they bring that robot for the day. So the final project is whatever they design. And what also is going to be very cool is some students, it will take them all year to do their project, and some students will do 4 or 5 little projects along the way, and that's okay. It's whatever they're passionate about.
That's really neat. And students are probably more engaged because
Yes.
that's a topic that they've selected themselves
Yes.
to be able to work on.
Yes, like we're finding the difficulty is narrowing it down now because they have so many interests that picking that one to get started with.
Yep.
Who educates and assists our state students, provides medical care and support, and strengthens our communities? We do. NYSUT members are classroom teachers, college faculty and staff, nurses, and healthcare professionals. We're cafeteria workers, bus drivers, teacher aides, and teaching assistants. We're more than 600,000 caring, supportive professionals living and working in communities across New York State. We are NYSUT. We make a difference.
So tell us a little bit about the lesson that we'll see today on Inside the Classroom.
So the lesson today that we did was it was a 5th grade class, and students were working on their Chromebooks. They did a research project on the rainforest. So at the end of the project, the teacher was like, I want them to show something. What did they research? What did they do? So we were 3D printing animals that they had researched in the rainforest. So using using Tinkercad. It's a program that they can create 3D objects. So they were working with Tinkercad and shapes, and they had to figure out how to manipulate the shapes to make a frog or to make a bird or whatever they researched. So they were on Tinkercad and they were manipulating the different shapes and making it look like whatever animal they researched, and then they were coming up to the lab and they were printing them.
So let's take a look. That sounds like a lot of fun. Let's take a look at the students using Tinkercad inside the classroom.
So as far as 3D printing, this is your opportunity to learn how to be creative, to use your engineering skills from STEM, like science, technology, engineering, math skills. In this process, there are shapes that you need to manipulate and change and expand or shrink, right? Using your imagination and creativity to figure out, well, that's a triangle, but what else could it be? Could it be a beak? Could it be talons? Could it be a tail? We have some tails on lizards that are triangles. Yeah. So that's shapes that you could use. The fact that you're given something as simple as like chicken feet. Well, what else can I use this for? Using bunny ears in place of wings and just stretching them out. And also learning how 3D printing works, that it's layer by layer, what kind of filament we're using, where as you grow up and start getting jobs, how they're using 3D printing. Remember we talked about in the medical field. That was huge in the medical field. Also building houses. right? Learning how to build houses quickly but cheaply and using the least amount of materials but making them strong so that the house stands up. So these are all things that you're learning here in 5th grade that you're going to use as you grow up as an adult to further your work skills and just your knowledge.
I log back on.
Go to Tinkercad, or if you had it bookmark. If you have it bookmark, you can just click the bookmark again, or go through Tinkercad.
Is it mine's not like it's not about 3D printing?
Yeah, honey.
My computer's all zoomed in, and I try zooming out, and it won't like.
Let's go
It's kind of blurry too.
Let's go right. Should be able to over this way or this way. There's a little button that you can reduce size.
Yeah, I know, but is it? Are you talking about this? Because Zoom?
No, this should be okay. Because that's just that screen. We want the home screen. How did you change your background? That's where we want to go.
Like I don't know. Like it just when I turn on the Chromebook, it just.
You see, it says it's 100% right now. You know what? If it's
the
not,
battery level.
if it's not,
Because it's kind of like all blurry. It's
yeah.
kinda-
You know what? I would just pick a different background.
Okay.
Unless it has something to do with the internet right now.
Yeah, because we're connected to the
Yeah.
the new Wi-Fi.
You can just fix up your internet.
But it didn't work.
So I'm looking at it. I just want to make sure, like the feet. I'm worried that there's not enough connection to the board for it. Do you think you can put his feet flat? Does that make sense? I'm just afraid there's not enough print space that he's going to just pop off, and I'm not going to be able to print him. So if there's a way,
I want to make it like that.
yeah,
so
like he was
it's
walking,
Yeah, it's like a model.
right?
Okay.
So maybe have him standing like on a box or something, so there's enough that can connect to the plate. Does that make sense? Like you could bring over a box and have him standing on it.
So I could keep it like this? Okay, but
Just to
it's
see
not
how this
all
has more surface
connected.
area.
It's not all connected.
I'll show you what you can do. Can you put a box, like just drag, yep, perfect. Then click, see where it says group? Click group. And now he should be all one big piece. Now click off of him. Let's click somewhere off. But you don't want him on the board, right? So hold on, click undo. Undo again. Okay, there you go. So just box him in. You ended up boxing in the whole bottom part. And just like that. Okay, yep, you are good. Just don't forget to put your card back underneath my water bottle and you can design a new project. You can just create something new. Perfect.
May I put this now?
Feet are like they're almost flat. You know what you can do is, you know how we grab them, make them taller with that arrow? Do that, make them just a little bit thicker.
See, I did this and then I like.
Yeah, Owen could help you.
Can you see if this is? I already tried to do.
Did you log off and log back on? I would, boys and girls, for the internet, I would log off, like shut it down, log off, and restart again, reboot. Okay? Okay. Then just give it a minute. Sure. While you're waiting to reload.
What do they look like? This is not
Oh, I'm trying now.
Mrs. Honeck, do you
Yeah.
have any more of those upstairs?
I don't. I only have that one.
I could bring in some. How do you make the eyes? I cannot.
They're almost like little like nail clippers too.
I have so many of those.
Do you?
I have
Sure.
I have wire snippers, but they're not good ones. I
Yeah.
need to get new ones for my soldering iron.
Yeah.
Can you recycle the plastic, or do you just have to get new? I know, but still.
That's a really good question. I don't know if we don't recycle it, but I wonder if we could use recycled plastic because that would save money.
Do you want me to cut this one out for like this?
It's completely up to you.
You want to say it's an
Completely.
example?
Yeah, I would love that as an example up in the
So
classroom.
I'll cut it out and for an example because I have this one I'm gonna keep until the other one's done.
Okay.
Just in case it doesn't print.
Okay.
Clip it. So
Are you guys back on?
mine's still loading.
Okay. It's just spinning. Yeah. Okay, boys and girls, why don't you have a seat? And here's what we'll talk about next. So, I don't know why. Who knows what the... Never mind. Stay right where you are. Are you logging back on then?
So what I'm doing is
Raise your hand now if you finished today so that I know. Oh, actually, let's do this. Raise your hand if you are completely finished. It wasn't just today, it was any day you finished. Okay, hands down. Then that means there's probably like 6 of you that are still working,
I'm finished.
right?
But I want you to check it.
Okay, okay. Yeah, who else is finished and would like me to look at it just to make sure it fits all the dimensions and everything's where it needs to be? Okay, so that's even better. So we're almost all done. So maybe other than Alex, because his is giving him a hard time, we should almost be done by Friday, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Maybe. I'm done. I'll give you the code.
You put it back there underneath my water bottle?
I'll give you it before.
Oh, then I have it upstairs. Yes, I have it in my lab.
Last time my card is under the water.
Perfect. Okay, quickly, guys, grab your picture and come on, have a seat. I'm just going to come over. I'm going to ask you to present what animal you have, okay, and what you have, guys, and what you have done so far to design it. Okay, you can talk about how you have the head, the beak, different shapes that you used. I used a triangle to do this or a square to do this body part, things like that. You might even want to talk about the research project and why we're even doing this. Like, why are we 3D printing things? Okay, kind of like what we talked about before. What's the whole point? So I may say to you, why are you 3D printing stuff? What would you tell me back? Why are we doing this?
A project on the rainforest, and this is our animal that we choose to print out.
Also, if you go look at a rainforest, which is closer about.
Mine's not done yet.
Yeah, absolutely. You have it right here to hold, right? Okay, Sydney, you would like to start? Is that what you told me?
Sure.
She did. She said she wanted to start. So sit all the way down.
Wait, can you see go first?
You want to go first?
Yes.
Lauren.
I wanna go
Okay.
second.
Everyone else needs to zip it.
I want to go second.
Act like 5th graders. Zip it. Okay, Lauren, can you kind of show us your project today or tell us about it? Would you like to stand up front here?
Sure, I'd love to.
Okay.
So I'm doing the Jesus lizard, and it's called the Jesus lizard because it walks on water.
Ooh.
And so it's green and brownish, you can kind of see. And it's kind of cool because it has like little air socket things on the bottom of its feet to help it walk on water. So
How far are you in the design?
I am almost done, but not done.
What sort of shapes have you used to design and get ready to 3D print? Have you used a square, a cone,
I use
rectangles?
like this part of an egg part.
Oh, okay. So like an eggshell it looked like?
Yeah, for the tail, and then have chicken feet for the feet.
Because that was what was available, right?
Yeah, that's like the only feet.
Yeah.
And then I use like a circular thing for the body,
Yeah.
and that's as far as I got so far.
Nice. Sean, would you like to come up and share what you have?
I have a rainforest scorpion,
Oh.
and it has the like big claws that like to grab its prey, and it has poison. It has like a tail that can inject poison into it, thing, and it has 6 legs. So
Did you incorporate, what did you use to put the legs out?
for the legs, I used a few cylinders and they're like angled down, and they're out, and they go out like so I did 3 cylinders for each leg.
Anyone with legs, that might be a good choice, cylinders. And then did you just shrink them down? Like
Yeah,
flatten
like-
them out a little bit so they
I didn't
weren't
really- I
completely
didn't-
circular? Or you want
Yeah,
them
I
circular?
flattened them a little bit, but they're not all like.
What did you use for the poisonous tail?
Like the tail was 2 shapes. It was a half circle, which I stretched out, and then I used a triangle, and I pointed that out, and I made it small. And
For the
attached it
point?
to that, yeah.
Very cool. Claws? What'd you make the claws out of?
Claws are big, like these big triangles with. I'm pretty sure it is either a square or a cylinder for it.
So if you're struggling, if your animal has claws or like talons, that might be something you could hook up with Sean and see what he did. Madison, nice job, Sean. Sid, will you check the internet for us? Thanks, babe. Oh, sorry, hon. I'm gonna push that into you. Sorry.
I'm doing
Nice and loud so we can hear you.
the toucan. It has a large, slightly curved beak, and it has colorful stripes like there at the bottom. It's at like its tail,
but it has sharp claws, so it can grab onto branches, and that's about it.
Okay, are you done with your project?
Yes.
Okay, so what did you use for the talons? Like what sort of shape? The feet, then right here.
I used chicken feet.
Okay. All right, here's what I'd like you to do since we're almost out of time today. Please shut down your Chromebooks.
The second mine just started.
Of course it did. Of course it did. You may, you can go ahead and plug your Chromebooks in and get your desk ready for the end of the day.
You can rely on your union. We're always by your side, safeguarding your workplace rights, advocating for fair pay and benefits, and ensuring you have a voice on the job. You work hard. Isn't it nice to know your union works hard for you? You and your union. Together, we stand up for our students. We strengthen public education and healthcare. Together, we make a difference.
We're back with Kim Honeck, a STEAM coach in the Tonawanda City School District. Kim, tell us how the school district started this STEAM coaching program, because I know that you have someone that's more in the high school, middle school area, and then you work primarily with Fletcher elementary teachers. You have someone working in another elementary building that we've spoken with. How did this get started?
So a few years ago, I was working in their enrichment program. Like I taught 5th grade for a long time, then 3rd grade, then this enrichment program opened up. I jumped on board, I was excited, I wanted something new. So I taught enrichment for a while, and then they brought on my colleague Renee Brady, who was our first STEM coach. And that year she would send material out and be like, does anyone want to do this? Is anyone interested in this? And I was always like, yes, I want to do that. I want to jump on board. And her and I that year worked very closely together. And a lot of the lessons I was doing were already STEM, although I didn't know that. And then she was incorporating new things. She was bringing on things that, you know, the Herschel Carousel Museum, we have, you know, a grant with them we work very closely with. So throughout the year, we kept going to our administrator and saying, hey, we're doing this together, we're doing this together. And it kind of then that summer just morphed into like, wait a second here, we could turn this into STEM and enrichment so that all students benefit, you know, in all the buildings. So then after that, they decided, well, since I was working with 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and they wanted to incorporate the middle school and the younger grades, they brought in our other colleague, Carrie Oliver, and she is teaching K-2, I teach 3, 4, 5, and then Renee does the middle school. So it was just kind of an idea that, hey, we have something great here, how can we expand this so that all of the students in our district are benefiting?
And your school administration is very supportive?
Very supportive, yes. Anytime we go to them and say, hey, can we try this? Try it, let's see what happens, or let's have a conversation about it, let's sit down and see where we go with this. If we need supplies or anything like that, we go to them. They're very supportive and somehow find a way to get us what we need. As long as we show that it's benefiting students, they're very, very supportive.
That's great. And
Yes.
how many years has the STEAM program been going on then?
This is our 2nd official year. We just started last September with K through 6. So before that, it was the enrichment program. Renee's been with us for 2 years in this program, and then, so here we are at our 2nd year.
Do you notice a difference in student engagement and motivation at all?
Absolutely.
Or what have you?
When they are in the STEM lab, we have very little, if any, behavioral issues. Students are hands-on. They're coming to us saying, hey, look what I did, or can we do this, can we do that? So it's wonderful. Yeah, or they'll come tell us too, like, oh, at home I did this, we talked about it in the lab, and then I did this. Or I know when they get up into 6th grade with Mrs. Brady, they'll tell her things that we've done, you know, in the younger grades.
Yep. Now, what advice would you give other school districts or other teachers that are thinking of starting a program, a STEAM program in their districts? What kind of advice would you give them, or things that they would need to think about or do if they wanted to implement something like this for their students? Because I think it's a wonderful program.
Yeah.
It really gets students engaged, and it helps prepare them for the 21st century. I mean, students really do need to know how to do coding and programming and
Yes.
things that are going to be available for the jobs of the future.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give?
I would first say start small. Start slowly. Don't overwhelm yourself. I think when we first started last September, it was like, oh my gosh, we have all this stuff. Where do we begin? So starting small, talking with your colleagues, just trying some things. Just take a lesson and try it. Add something new. Don't think you have to change the entire lesson. Just add in something new and see where it can go from there. you know, research a lot, talk to people, come talk to us, see where we started, what we did. You know, we would share anything with anyone. Yeah, that would be it.
So tell our audience too a little bit about how long you've been teaching and how you got involved in teaching.
Okay, this is my 16th year with the City of Tonawanda. So I first started out actually working at Gateway Longview. I was a crisis intervention specialist, and after being in the classroom so much, I was like, you know what, that's where I want to go. So I went back and got my master's in elementary ed, and I student taught in the City of Tonawanda. So I happened to be like in the right place at the right time. After I student taught, they hired me that next year for 5th grade, and I taught 5th grade for many years, and then 3rd grade, and like I said, enrichment, and then here I am in STEM.
And you have a wonderful principal too at Fletcher Elementary,
Yes.
Dr. McKenna.
Yes.
I wrote a book chapter for a book that he recently published. And what a wonderful, supportive administration you must
supportive.
have, all the way
Yes.
from your superintendent
Yes.
down to your building level administrators. So that is great for getting some ideas like this off the ground and really being innovative. And I think that's, you know, that's what we
Yeah.
need in education right now. And I know in the public schools, I'm very proud to be a public school
Yes.
teacher as well at Lewiston Porter, and we're doing some wonderful things with technology there. And I think it really does motivate students and engage
Yes.
them more in the classroom
Yes.
when you incorporate that, you know, the art or music or technology into your lessons. So thank you for what you do and working
Absolutely.
with teachers and for helping us spice up our lessons.
Yes, absolutely. I think I'm the lucky one. I always tell everyone I have the best job.
Well, I know our audience is going to love seeing your students, and I really appreciate you sharing your class with us today and Inside the Classroom.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you so much.
We get you started early. We stay with you in middle school. We see you through graduation, college, and beyond, realizing potential every step of the way. We're New York State United Teachers, 600,000 professionals dedicated to excellence in public education. But that's not all. We also provide healthcare and human services to New Yorkers of all ages. We're NYSET, caring for patients, working for students, working with our communities.
Inside the Classroom is brought to you by NYSET, a union of more than 600,000 professionals dedicated to education, human services, and healthcare. NYSET is proud to partner with parents in advocating for what students need. We stand for excellence in public education from preschool through postgrad. Find us online at nyset.org.